So, two things. One, my device was being dumb, and I had to re-download my drawings, which would explain why it took so long for this video. Two, after making the script for this video, I realized I can not do 2 videos a month, so now I'm going to do 1 video a month. So I'm very sorry about that, and I hope you guys can forgive me. But anyways, let's get to the video. School is said to be a place of education and help kids learn math, science, and other fun subjects. But we all know it's a prison. Now, my school year is over, so I thought talking about my school was a good idea. The school I go to is not bad, but it could use some work. There are some good number of teachers that really try to help me and other students. But then there are some of those teachers. If you see my last video, I talked about how we need to stop stereotyping and help others when they're being yelled at for their own opinions. This teacher is not one of those people. Now, I don't want people to think this teacher is horrible. I haven't fully experienced his class. I've only had him as a coach. So, during the spring, I decided to try track and field. And the boys varsity team's coach was the teacher who I'll call Mr. Sports, which you'll see why. I also am in senior chorus and junior pop group. If you don't know what that is, it's basically a group that sings in mics. Well, one day I found out a middle school concert where junior pop group would sing at one point, and a track meet on the same day. I started thinking, which one should I go to? I then decided to go to the concert because I had a lot more meets to go to, and this concert was a one-time thing. I went over to my music teacher and told her, but then she told me to tell my coach. Now here's the problem with that. Mr. Sports loves sports, and when you choose something over sports, he's not going to like it. Another reason was that he doesn't like to stay in his class. He is always all over the place, which is very annoying if you're trying to find him. I finally see him talking to another teacher and walk up to him. I tell him what was going on and what I decided. And what do you know? He talks about this one meet that I missed, which is because I had this field trip I was going to that I knew about ever since December, long before I knew about any meet. He talks about how I shouldn't miss this one, and kept saying some other nonsense, and kept bugging me until I said that I would go. But I'm not the kind of guy to be pushed around. When I went home, I explained the situation to Mom and Dad, which they said that I could choose where I wanted to go to. And I chose the concert. The story doesn't end there, though, because the night of the concert, I came very early, and guess who was there? Mr. Sports. He was in the library, so I tried to sneak past it, since the hall to the chorus room is on the right of the library. But the middle school principal, who I had a good bond with, saw me and waved. I nervously waved back, and darted to the chorus room. After panning for a few minutes, I sat on a chair and waited for everyone to arrive. The day after that, I was expecting Mr. Sports to yell at me, but he said nothing. He didn't even bring it up. He didn't show any aggression towards me. I was just totally confused. Seriously, he makes a big deal about how I should be active all the time, which I like being active, but not every single minute. But after I shove his words aside, he just acts like nothing happens? It just makes no sense. There are other stories I've heard about him, specifically my sister, and I do have a lot more stories about him myself. But I want to move on to the students because I'm already at the fourth page of my script. So the students, I honestly don't know what to say about them. To start off, the boys' bathroom. Boys will be boys, I guess. But these boys are terrible. Always banging the stalls, making loud noises, pooping on the floor. I'm serious. It's always wild when the boys come in, and the stalls are a whole other story. They don't flush the toilets, they make a mess, they don't clean up after themselves, and they write on the inside of the stalls, which is most of the time inappropriate. For instance, I one time had to take a dump, and when I'm sitting there, I realized someone drew a Galactus-sized penis on the door of the stall. Then there's the locker room. I'm not even going to talk about the idiotic stuff they do in there. Nowadays, I just try to avoid going in there before gym. But any other time is just fine. The students in general are still horrible. I would go on, but that could be for a whole other video. Now I'm going to talk about my friends. So I have a few friends at the school. Some of them are really good friends. They're always there for me, and I couldn't be happier to have them. And then there are some unique friends. So first up are Chili, Blueberry, Hoodie, and Sportsy. All four of them are great to hang out with, and the reason why I grouped them together is because they are just one of my best friends, and I don't really have that many problems with them. Chili is a really relaxed person. I can talk to him about anything, and he wouldn't care. The same goes with Hoodie. They don't care what I'm talking about, and understand where I'm coming from. Blueberry is a memer. He shows me a lot of jokes that sometimes I don't understand, but there's nothing wrong with that. He's a great friend I'm happy to have. Sportsy is very athletic, and he plays the sports that I do as well. He's probably one of my best friends. We even stick together in track and field. We both do two of the same events, so most of the time we're always practicing with each other. These guys are just great friends that I'm happy to have. But then there's the other friends I have. Next one up is Loverboy. So, Loverboy is alright. I don't spend as much time with him as the other guys, but I know him well enough to know how he's like. The problem is that he's into hot chicks way too much. One story with Loverboy was at lunch with me, Chili, Blueberry, and another friend that I'll be talking about next. So what happened was that Blueberry asked us to sign a paper from him so he could become a student council. Everyone signed except for Loverboy. Why exactly? Well, he just wanted to sign a paper from one of the hot girls. He didn't tell us that, but we soon found out when one of the hot girls came over to our table and asked for one of us to sign their paper. Loverboy signs the paper, and the unnamed friend gets mad and yells at him. Everyone else goes back to what they were doing. There are more stories about him, but that was the most recent one. So yeah. If it came down to saving one of his friends or a manipulating chick, he'd save the son of a... This one is the unnamed friend from the Loverboy story, who I'll call Drama Queen. By her name, you can probably tell she's full of drama. Every time we hang out, she's always talking about the stuff she's going through with people she knows. I'm listening to her thinking, then just stop hanging out with them. I mean, seriously, if these people are being jerks, then just stop being around them. My last friend I'll call Hitler, for reasons.
Es bleiben im Raum Keitel, Jodl, Krebs und Burgdorf. Das war ein Befehl! Der Angriff Steiners war ein Befehl!
He thinks that communism is better than capitalism. My opinion on it? That would be for another video. So, my friends, teacher, and the students, they sound like they'd be bad people to hang out with, right? Actually, no. Even though most of the time they're doing this stupid stuff or they're doing things that just annoy me, they are still fun to hang out with sometimes. Even through the bad times I've had. But the lesson I want you guys to learn is this. If someone is like the teacher, the students, or one of my friends I talked about in this video, I want you to give them a chance. Because just maybe they could be the best friend you've ever had. Because that's what happened to me.